Hello everyone, welcome to Module 6. I know it's going to look a little bit different when you're viewing this video because I'm in the announcement page now. But we're going to move over to the course content section. Again, just a reminder, I do have virtual office hours to set up a Zoom call with you if you're interested. I know a lot of you have reached out to me and we've talked over the phone or via email, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to jump on a call at any point in time to help you through anything. I just want to put that out there again. No one's used a community forum yet, but it's still available if you have questions there that other students might, of course, find helpful because they can view it there too. So as we navigate to Module 6, we got some new stuff coming up. First off, we're going to talk about the physician-patient relationship and professional ethics in the living. So I have two cool lectures. One, which I did a while back, is Module 6. Feel free to take a look at that. I think there's some great information there from the relation of this course, but we do have a lecture on Chapter 10 based on your Cengage textbook. So that's already recorded and ready to go there, so make sure to watch that. And I put additional lecture, but you know it's going to be about 13 minutes long, so that goes straight through the Cengage textbook from the relation to Chapter 10, which is going to be test questions, right? Make sure you read Chapter 10, Professional Ethics in the Living, in your Cengage textbook, because that's going to be important, because it's going to be based on, of course, the future exams, right? There's two PowerPoints. So I have a lecture that I did in Module 6 here, and a lecture from Chapter 10. They're both located here. And that's, it should say Cengage. Let me fix that real quick. That's an error that I just finally saw. Fixed it. It said Engage instead of Cengage. Now I want you to be engaged, but it's supposed to say Cengage because that's the text, right? All right, so you got Chapter 6 and Chapter 10, those PowerPoints. And from that, we navigate through. You have two cool things. Well, one cool thing, making sure you understand consent, and it's going to vary state by state. So what does consent look like for minors in the state of Washington? It's kind of confusing a lot of times for healthcare providers and caregivers, so I put that in there. So consent for minors in the healthcare setting in the state of Washington. So that is that link is located there. Very interesting. So take a look at that. Actually, let's pull it up and talk about it for a minute. So providing healthcare to minors in the state of Washington. Do you need consent for emergency medical services? So you need minor's consent. You have to have the parent or guardian's consent. So, however, if it's an issue where, like we've talked about before, where a patient comes in, they're unconscious, of course, the Good Samaritan law is going to come into play, so you don't need consent per se. That's auto consent. Non-medical services, you have to have parent guardian unless the minor meets the mature minor doctrine. So you can read over that. Immunizations, parent or guardian is yes. Minors may receive immunizations without parental consent under the mature minor doctrine summarized above, and that is, it is not a medical emergency or one of the types of service listed below. Minors may still give a valid consent under the mature minor doctrine if they are capable of understanding or appreciating the consequences of a medical procedure. In determining whether the patient is a mature minor, providers will evaluate the minor's age, intelligence, maturity, training, and on, or lack thereof, and general conduct as an adult, and freedom from the control of parents. So, some things that I want to mention as well. Minors don't have to have consent for mental health treatment if they're over 13. Substance abuse is another thing, and then prenatal as well. So, and they actually can seek prenatal care at any age. So, all right, I think that's some great information, very confusing at times, but things that are important to know when you navigate into the healthcare field. All right, so let's navigate back to the class. So the only two things that are going to be due this week are the Module 6 review questions and the all brand new Module 6 lecture question. So you might ask, what's a lecture question? It's kind of like a discussion post, but it's only one question, and I'll have a different question throughout the next few weeks that you'll have to answer. And you need to have at least 200 words on this module lecture question. It can't be like one sentence. All right, so this lecture question for this module is, When thinking about the physician-patient relationship, how can we legally protect ourselves as caregivers when working with vulnerable individuals? So, thinking about it from the perspective of the caregiver, how do you protect yourself? You want to do what's right for the patient, but you also want to protect yourself to make sure that you're delivering, of course, the proper care, and you're not stepping into something that would be detrimental to your future career. Maybe you're given an order from a provider that you're really not supposed to perform. How do you protect yourself when working with when working with patients? Because there's going to be challenges here and there. So answer that. It's got to be at least 200 words. Once you answer it, you get full credit. It's a PPS thing. So it's a little different than Module 6 review questions or review questions in general. It's just pass or fail. So if you do it, you pass. If you don't, you fail. Make sure it's 200 words, though. At least 200 words, okay? So that's going to be due on Sunday. That's due on Sunday. Module 6 lecture question. It said Friday. I had to edit that. I'm not sure what happened there, but those two things are due, and I'll have a summary in this announcement post. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, Module 6, Chapter 10. It's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading your lecture questions. Thanks so much.